Homelessness here in the United States has risen sharply since the COVID-19 pandemic, with perhaps over 1 million individuals now out on the streets in 2026. And it's likely that a third of these cases or more involve families or children. Unhoused children are not only extremely vulnerable, but they often end up missing critical classroom time as their families shuttle between shelters and the street, thus falling behind academically, socially, and emotionally. In this episode of Journey of Gratitude, you'll meet Charles Evans, a Gratitude Fellow and Executive Director of School on Wheels, a not-for-profit based in Los Angeles that addresses the needs of these children who are in such critical need.
Hi, my name is Charles Evans. I'm an Executive Director with School on Wheels, and I was a Gratitude Fellow in 2019. I grew up in South LA for the majority of my life. Went to 3 schools that I'm extremely proud of. Also went to college in the Southern California area, Whittier College. My mom is from Belize and my dad was from St. Kitts. And I actually spent some of my primary years going to school in Belize. So that shaped me in terms of how I viewed education. No, my mom was a single mother of 4. My dad wasn't around in my life as much, at least in my formative younger years. So I think seeing my mom work really hard for retiring after 35 years from the city of LA, I understood the value of working, but not so much the value of education. I went into school basically undecided, not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. Definitely didn't want to work in education, to be honest. I thought I wanted to be in corporate America, and I was interested in marketing and economics and all of those things, right, that are money generating. But then I found School on Wheels, and it was a new to me in terms of the unhoused population. It was it was an area that I was very unfamiliar with. But after graduating, I thought, maybe I can be a teacher. So I actually took the required tests to become a teacher. And I was fortunate enough to find School on Wheels. And I was like, well, this is a great way to be in education, but not be restricted to the classroom. And I thought, what better of a population to support than a population that's invisible to most folks. Homelessness in the U.S. is a major issue. There's estimates that that are provided where they estimate that 1.4 million school-aged kids are experiencing homelessness, and that number continues to increase, unfortunately. Yeah, we estimate in the school districts that we serve, there's more than 250,000 students kindergarten through 12th grade affected by homelessness. When we think about homelessness, we're really not thinking about kids, right? We think about the person that we might see in front of your local grocery store asking for, a couple of dollars, or somebody on the side of a freeway. The kids are really invisible, and I think they're more at risk because of the fact that there's very little attention being given to that population. So School on Wheels is a nonprofit organization here in Southern California. We provide free academic tutoring to kids experiencing homelessness kindergarten through 12th grade. Yeah, so right now I'm in our Skid Row Learning Center. It's the only space like this. People don't know this, but there's hundreds of families, unfortunately, that live in the Skid Row area. And we have an after-school program that's dedicated to providing support for the kids that live either in shelters, in mobile homes, and RVs, or on the streets of Skid Row. Our program is to identify the gaps in our students' education. And we do that primarily through training volunteer tutors. We have volunteer tutors throughout Southern California in 6 different counties. We provide training and support to those volunteer tutors, and they are matched up individually with their very own student. School on Wheels, today we have about 30 different team members. They're distributed throughout Southern California. With our volunteer, we manage over 1,500 volunteers, and with that amount of volunteers, we're able to serve anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 students. In our program, K through 8, we've seen 70% of our students make academic improvement within the first 100 days. And we really feel as an organization that's attributed to the relationship that they develop with their volunteer tutor. One example that comes to mind was that when I was a learning center instructor and I had an opportunity to work really closely with the kids, there was a family, and it was 6 siblings, 3 sets of twins. And they were in our program, unfortunately, for about 2 years. They went from shelter to abandoned building to living in a car. And recently, those students came back. They were between the ages of 5 and 10, and now they're actually all attending universities. And one of the students actually is attending a university by the name of UC Irvine. I've had students that have gone through the program that are now volunteers with the program. I've had volunteers that have had different backgrounds in terms of their professional space that have gone on to become teachers as a result of being a tutor. My coach was Steve McCoy Thompson, and throughout my experience with gratitude, I think the good thing was that Steve was always available, regardless, whether that was by phone or text or a video call. And I think the biggest thing with Steve that he taught me was just really patience. I think really gave me an opportunity to look at the nonprofit lens also from a business standpoint, and not just look at it as you're here to just solve a problem, but how do you sustain yourself as an organization to make sure you're here 5, 10, 15 years from now. Those relationships have really helped shape me as a leader and give me an opportunity to have people that have gone through the experiences that I'm going through now and be able to just kind of help me, walk me through and coach me through and guide me through some of those challenging moments that I experienced as an executive director. The lives of our families are challenging. So why shouldn't our lives be any more challenging in terms of the work that we do?